Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching in the world, welcome along to this. This is TTL F1, round number 6 of season 15, which takes us to the Hungarian Grand Prix. It is Monaco without the barriers, as we really reach what is supposedly the halfway point in this season now. My name is Kieran McGinley, and joining me in the commentary box is Andy Campbell. Andy, how are you tonight?
Good evening everyone, hello, welcome along to round 6 of TTL F1 season 15, as Kieran says, from Monaco without the barriers, the Hungaroring in Hungary, just outside of the capital city of Budapest, a lovely city that it is indeed. And tonight could be an interesting one, because I know of quite a few drivers who, to put it bluntly, they don't like this place, they don't like the track. And that could make things quite interesting. Maybe there's a few chances here. Might be short of a couple of drivers. I know Recon's not going to be here tonight because I think his PlayStation's finally gone and gave up the Ghost. So, new one required for the young Dutchman, please. But should still be an interesting race. It's always a tricky circuit here in Hungary. And hopefully we'll have some really good action here tonight one more time.
Absolutely, and obviously we do call it Monaco without the barriers. That means one thing then, that overtaking is very, very challenging, but your best chance to do it, really, is down into turn 1. You've got that long DRS straight, down towards the braking zone, and then, you know, you could be on the outside for turn 1, then you've got the inside line for turn 2. Again, we could be seeing cars go side by side through turn 3. That is entirely possible. Where they don't want to be going side by side, Andy, is the fast left-hander at turn 4.
No, definitely not. That's a bit of a no-no there. And also the other bit to remember as well, there's 2 DRS zones, but there's only one detection point. That detection point is just before you come into turn 14, the final corner. So if you can line someone up down that front straight, get the move done into turn 1, and get a good exit, you're going to have a second dose of DRS to try and defend, to make sure you keep that position heading into turn 2. So it's turn 2, yeah, I'm getting it right. So it's definitely one of those ones that, you know, can really be helpful to the attacking car if they'll line it up very, very nicely. And it does hinder the car that's trying to defend, because they will not have that DRS unless they are within that 1 second window as well. So it's a really tricky one indeed. You've not got really many other overtaking opportunities. The chicane at the top of the track is... well, you need to be completely alongside for that one. The next couple of corners are quite sweeping and fast. They're pretty much single track. You can have a bit of a go into, I believe it is turn 10 down at the bottom of the hill, but apart from that, turn 1 is going to be the main place to see overtaking tonight.
Well, let's have a look at the championship standings following round number 5. Well, it is Jack who's leading the way on 94 points. It's Leroy in second on 58, Troy in third on 53, Recon and Lyronix tied in 4th place, both on 51 points. Navy is in 6th on 45, Spike in 7th on 38, Warren in 8th on 30 points, Lighty in 9th on 26, Sean in 10th on 23. Then it is the Gort and Old Man Barry tied in 11th place, both on 10 points. Jeffrey Henney is in 13th on 6 points. Charlie and Mays both tied for P14 with 3 points. It's George, Graham, Alan Kay and Hustwick all yet to get a point on the board. For the constructors then, well, Red Bull are leading the way, as they're on 104 points. In fact, Jack has scored 94 of their points out of 104, so that just shows you how much he is dominating right now. Mercedes are in second on 89 points, Toro Rosso in third on 79, Ferrari fourth on 74, Williams are in fifth on 58, with Renault in sixth on 48, McLaren in seventh on 36, Haas are in 8th on 10 points, Racing Point are in 9th on 6 points, and Alfa Romeo round out the teams with 3 points. And to just go through the last time out results, well, Jack made it back-to-back wins in Britain. He made it 2 wins out of 2, and so his 4th time on the podium this season out of 5. The only time he hasn't been on the podium this season was Bahrain, the very first round, where he finished in 5th place. Lyronix then took 2nd place, and it was Recon who managed to finish in 3rd. You know what, I'm thinking Recon just doesn't like me, he's trying to avoid me, but he's been in the chat tonight saying, I'm just going to watch my championship hopes slide away, which is quite disheartening. But Jack does have a pretty decent lead heading into round number 6 here. I mean, when you think about it, after this one, we've only got 4 rounds left. It'll be Italy, Russia, Mexico, then Brazil, and that's it. So there's not a lot of time for the other drivers to catch up.
No, definitely not. And Jack trying to regain the crown he won in season 13, obviously, as well. Ironic's the defending champion this season. But yeah, Recon not here because of that PlayStation issues. And as soon as I heard that earlier on today, you know that very poor rendition of My Heart Will Go On played on a kazoo that's about 2 tones out of tune? That came into my head, I'll tell you that much for a fact. But yeah, no, this should be a good race. Obviously, one little bit to clear up. In regards, you went through the championship standings, you mentioned Leroy, who actually won in Monaco. He has now left the league, so he is no longer a part of TTL F1, and he will no longer gain any other points for the rest of the season. So he will obviously start to drop down as we go along, just in case anyone watching along who is wondering, well, where is he? Well, he's left now, unfortunately, so he's no longer a part of the league. But we've still got 15 drivers here tonight, so we're only missing the 5. 75%, I'll take that, not too bad. Nice, clear sunshine, as you'd expect within Eastern European Budapest, and it'll be interesting to see who comes out on top in qualifying.
Oh, I've got hybrid car. I've got electric cars again, Andy. Well, just like 2 rounds ago, I'm going to have to leave the lobby and then join back. So I wonder if you could just slip me an invite. That would be very.
I think you might have a few spare ones already, because I've got about 3, so you should be okay.
I hope I do, anyway. Let me have a look. I do have a couple of spares, so that's fine. So what I'll do then is I'll leave this lobby. But Andy, just take us through it then, the Hungaroring. Obviously, we won't be able to do the hot lap just yet, but we've had a chat about where the overtaking opportunities are, or where the overtaking opportunity is. But, you know, the Hungaroring, it's either you love it or you hate it circuit. It's a bit like Marmite.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you go back to... For me personally, if you go back to previous games, it's got some of my best races around here. In the last couple of years, though, I detest this track now. I really do. I don't know what it is. I just cannot get a groove around here like I used to in the older games. So it just shows you it can chop and change. And as we say, there's a lot of drivers not looking forward to this tonight, using some not very nice words that cannot be repeated on stream to describe the track. So it's a tricky challenge, you know. You make your way from the start and finish line, you drop downhill, then you come uphill towards the top end of the track where the chicane is, and you drop back down again. So there's a few undulations through the circuit, and it does make it tricky. It's usually quite tough on tyres. It is usually quite warm temperatures when the real life race goes on in the middle of the summer, and that can obviously make things very interesting indeed. First held its first race back in 1986 here, although the first Hungarian Grand Prix was held all the way back in 1936. It was the only time it was ever held, and then there was nothing until over 60-70 years later in 86. So yeah, it's been around ever since though, and it didn't have a wet race until 2006. That was the race, of course, that Jenson Button won his first ever Formula 1 Grand Prix.
Proved himself to be a little bit of a wet weather specialist at Jenson Button, especially in those tricky, slippery conditions where it's not quite
14th
wet.
on the grid as well.
Yeah, so a great result from him. I'm just trying to find a driver who might be close to their flying lap out there, just so we can ride on board with the driver. I haven't got anyone yet, but the closest to the line then is the German of Lighty. Or is it George?
Oh, Lighty. Lighty on there? I can't find him.
Oh, no, we'll ride on board with George then, because he's round the final corner. So, Take it away, Mr. Andy.
So here we go then through the final corner on board with the Williams DRS Open down the long front straight. He's just done excuse me, my voice got me there. Just done a fast lap there, heading down towards turn 1. It's around 75 metres you can break into here, down to third gear, 60 mile an hour, back on the power, back on the DRS, down towards turn number 2. You got to be careful down here, there's a little bit downhill braking as well. You can see the car just wanting to understeer wide to the right. George able to pull it back in through the kink of turn number 3, use a little bit of the exit on the left hand side, up towards the fast turn 4, drop it down to 5th gear, around about 120, 130 miles an hour, and then the long curve of turn 5. It's got to be patient on the way in, it tightens up and then opens up towards the chicane, turn 6 and 7. You've got the sausage curbing on the inside, you need to be careful there as George absolutely mullers it into now turn 8 and 9, nice easy through their 4th gear, bit of a flowing section here through turn 10 up towards turn 11. Now you can go through there pretty quick if you've got a good setup, downhill towards the end of sector 2, turn 12 now, if I've got my numbers right, so I've got mixed up. And that's a tricky corner. You could see some overtaking into there. Turn 13 is a tricky braking zone. The little dip there just as you hit the braking area, and then George heading for pit lane at the end of that. But you go through turn 14. Most people will probably keep it as far to the left at first, get as straight a line as possible through the final corner, and swing back across the start and finish line. Pole position at the moment is the Red Bull off the Gort on a 1 minute 17.1 on the soft compound tyres as well.
Yeah, not a bad lap at all. So we'll have to see how long he can stay out there with that lap time. Warren just puts himself into second place then. 1:17.7, Lyronix in third, 1:17.9. I don't know if you heard last night, Andy, in the Esports Mini League. Of course, that's been wrapped up now. And obviously in League 2, the second race, I was losing my voice towards the end of it. So hopefully it stays around for the entire stream this time around. But no promises.
No, hopefully it does too. We had some fantastic action again last night across all three leagues, and congratulations to the three teams winning. Livid Esports taking League 1, it was Inside Line Racing taking League 2, and VRT Vortex taking League 3. The first time we've had three leagues as well, and split streams, obviously a bit of a crossover between League 1 and 2, and then League 2 into League 3 as well. So it was really good night last night, plenty of action going on. And the next one, I'm sure, will probably be the new year, I would imagine, but we're looking forward to that with much delight when it comes, because we get some fantastic action and some brilliant racing when the mini leagues are on, and looking forward to more of the same next time out as well.
Yeah, we really do. I mean, it was pretty clean racing throughout. Jack clatters the curb on the entrance into turn 4, heading now through that long right-hander of turn 5. And turn 5 is an interesting one. You've got the curb on the inside of the corner. You take that curb and you spin the car around. It really is a painful curb to take, because I've done it before. Once you hit it, it's, oh, that's a bit of a power slide there from Jack then going onto the curbs. But I've done that now in that corner, that exact sort of line, that exact turn. And you just catch the curb and the car says, no, absolutely not. Back end's gone before you even know it.
Definitely. So, I mean, the one thing I always get, a big tank slapper out of 13 as well for Jack as he comes up towards line. Hard compound tyres, so he's on the hardest compound at the moment, but it's one of the things I always get when I'm, what a good lap. Second, nice, Red Bull 1-2. When I'm watching, like the esports event, like for example, or drivers of that sort of, or even drivers here, even just in any sort of league, the way that some of them can attack the curbs just astounds me sometimes, because anytime I try that, round I go, I'm doing a 360 before you know it. So I just don't know what they're doing to be able to do that without having the car do an absolute tailspin on itself. It's absolutely incredible, some of the speeds and the lines that some of the drivers can take out there, but it is fantastic stuff. And that was a good lap from Jack, despite the fact he was thinking he was Ken Block doing a bit of a hoonigan out there. Hard compound tyre, he's only 3/10 over 3/10 off his teammate on the soft compound tyre, so 2-step difference and only 3 and a bit tenths. That's a pretty mighty lap there from Jack.
Yeah, it's not bad at all, is it? We're seeing Navy now making his way down towards turn 2. As you say, Andy, it is one of those corners that sort of cambers sort of towards the corner eventually, but you've got a lot of downhill braking, as you say now, as the Renault flies through turn 4 and loses the back end and he's out. Navy then losing that back end on the exit of turn 4, and that is his qualifying session over and done with. He did set a lap time, it was a banker lap time though, and now he is out of qualifying altogether. Lyronix very happy that the Renault car is actually ghosted there.
Yeah, definitely so. Navy, not what he would have wanted, the Dutchman there. He'd only set one lap time. It was a bit of a standard lap time, 5 odd seconds down, not pushing at all, and well, that's not going to help him in any way, shape or form. Maze and Spike are the only two still to set a lap time at the moment, so you'd imagine he's going to be starting at the back of the field. It will give him 3 choice of tyres, of course, but it's a bit of track time lost for the Dutchman, and that won't be useful, but we've still got a chance at points here tonight with it being 15 drivers. It makes it a wee bit easier, and it makes that old bit that we go on about week in and week out about making sure you finish the race even more important. Races like this, you're going to have 66 to 67% of the drivers are going to score points here tonight. tonight. Out of the 15, 10 out of 15 scoring at least a point of some description if they finish in the top 10. So, you know, you really need to be finishing tonight. Lyronix is just, this is like a practice session for him at the moment. He's just gone up to second on the hard compound tyre, so it's a good lap time there for him. 2.2 times down, nearly 3 times down on the Gort, and that's his 5th lap on those tyres. So if he's getting to that sort of lap time now, what's he going to do when he puts on what would imagine would be a set of medium compound tyres rather than the softs for his last run?
Yeah, excited to see what that lap time will be towards the end of the session. But I was just going to say, Andy, I've crashed out of a qualifying session before. In fact, it was in TTFL. I believe it was called FL back in the day. It was the Friday League. And I went to Singapore, crashed out of qualifying, actually had a really, really good race. And it was one of those questions of what might have been. But, you know, the back end just wasn't behaving in qualifying. Did behave in the entire time during the race, though. So that was a bit annoying.
No, I know that one well. I mean, TTL F2 there on Tuesday night as the Gort goes quicker again on a fresh set of compound, soft compound, 16.68 tenths clear now. But on F2 and then Tuesday night at Silverstone, I had a car that was understeering like an Asda shopping trolley, and then the next moment it was back end out, sliding everywhere. I actually managed to crash coming onto the Wellington straight on the first lap, and you know yourself how much runoff's there to the outside on the right hand side, don't you?
Oh, I absolutely do, yeah.
Yeah, I managed to hit the wall and knock the wheel off it from there. That's how much it was snapping on me on Tuesday. So that was in the F2 car. I can only imagine how, if I'd done it in the F1 car, I probably would have ended up in knock hill back home.
Well, that would have been quite significant. I would have said that. But Alan Kay now gets onto a flying lap. Alan Kay actually had a pretty decent showing in Mini League 2 last time out, and he made the alternate strategy work, but he's on the soft compound tyres here today. Maybe, Andy, he's thinking this is a good chance for points. Does he want to risk the alternate strategy?
Well, I mean, it depends how confident he feels. Maybe he feels that he's going to get better chance with the softs. Obviously, those hards, we've seen Jack sliding around on the hard compound tyres, so it would say to me that they're taking quite a bit of time to get up to working temperature. And maybe, obviously, I'm expecting the best strategy to be soft to medium or medium to soft, and maybe a two-stopper, depending on how bad the wear is for some people. Some people will go for a hard tyre if they think they can make it work, but they're going to struggle in the first few laps, I would imagine, just to get them up to that working operating temperature. And maybe Alan's thinking, along with maybe a few others, that, well, with it being obviously a bit of a shorter field tonight with a few drivers missing, 15 drivers, he's got a good chance at getting points and might as well go for a little bit of a more risk in putting it down to the soft compound tyres initially and seeing just how quick his actual pace is. He comes across the line now to complete his latest lap time, and he goes up to 7th, so 2 seconds down. It's a decent lap time from Alan, puts him into the middle of the field, and he'll be hoping to see if he can improve. I'm sure he'll be able to get back to pits for one more time round with 5 minutes left to go.
Yeah, he's quicker than Graham there by just over 1/10 of a second on those soft tyres, and all the cars but one ahead of him are on the hard tyres. So with about 5 minutes to go, it's it's nip and tuck. Who's going to take this one, Andy? I'm not willing to put my neck on the line to say who's going to grab pole here.
No, it's a tricky one as well, because, I mean, you know, even if you take the likes of Lyronix and Jack, they've done their times on this hard compound tyre, and they're pretty close to each other, within about a few hundredths of a second, roughly, between the two of them. So he may's just put himself up into second there with his lap time. Normally we don't see the Renault driver out as Lyronix then goes faster again. He's done 8 laps on those hard compound tyres, so he is really treating this like a practice session. He's maybe thinking, okay, I'm going to test these, and I'm maybe going to try and do soft to hard, as Graham's just spun coming through the right-hander at turn 5 going up the hill, so not good for the racing point there. He's got underway though, no damage, never hit the wall, just a nice lazy slide through the corner. But yeah, Lyronix is obviously, I think he's testing race strategy, running that long on a set of hard compound tyres. He got out straight away, started the session. He's been pounding around the track ever since, but pole's anybody's guess. I mean, Warren could get up there as well. We know he can be quick on his day. Spike's not set a real representative lap time at the moment either. He's only done one lap on the hard compound tyres, and it's 16 seconds down. He had a spin coming out of turn 1, I believe. So it's anybody's guess, but the Gort's sitting pretty. He's been there the whole session so far. Can he stay there with 3.5 minutes to go?
Well, I'm just watching Lyronix in as he makes his way now around the penultimate corner. Surely he's got to pit in this time around, and yes, he does. So I wonder what tyres he'll re-emerge on. Will it be the softs or will it be the mediums, Andy? Who knows?
Oh, it's a touch and go one. I mean, as I say, I think he is really testing the strategy out, going for the hard. So he maybe thinks, yeah, okay, I can make these last. I've done 8 laps in qualifying here, and I've managed to do X amount of wear on the tyre and stuff like that, so maybe he thinks he can make the softs work, who knows. I would expect to see a lot of people going for the mediums, however. I think that's going to be the more better race tyre overall. It's going to give that good balance, as it always does. I think the softs are going to go off a bit too quickly round here, and remember, of course, just like we have when we get to Monaco, this is a 35 lap race, not your usual 20 plus, because it is one of the shorter tracks in the calendar, normally 70 laps, so half of that's 35 for them to deal with. Lyronix, medium tyres, so there you go. He's not going for that, but maybe he gives himself the option if he knows he can make the hards last, if he needs to do an early pit stop just to try and undercut someone maybe.
Troll then goes up to second place, but is instantly beaten by his teammate by the finest of margins, both Toro Rossos on the medium tyre, and they're now second and third, looking to really be thorns in the sides of the front runners here. Lyronix making his way down the pit lane, the defending champ looking to get back out on track and get some good points on the board. Right now, his pace looks really promising as we head towards the end of qualifying. Mays, of course, up there in 5th place for what will be his one and only lap. Penny is up to 8th place. He was in 7th before Lighty and Traw decided to do the honours, and Warren now goes into 2nd place, a 16.8 on a set of those medium tyres as he makes his way now down towards turn 1. I wonder how much quicker we're going to get. There's Graham then making his way through the chicane of 6 and 7 before this long aerodynamic heavy section through turn 9 and then on towards turns 10 and 11, flying through now. That right-hander dropping a gear there, but you see with Graham, he's down at VRS. He's used quite a lot of it in terms of how much is actually in the tank of the battery, but he's still got a little bit left to deploy over the entire lap. If that made any sense, send us a postcard. As he makes his way now around the final corner, ERS management is crucial around a track like this. Not many heavy braking points as Graham makes his way towards the line. He goes up into P9 though, so what do I know as he goes quicker than his previous attempt. Lighty then retires from the session. He's currently in 3rd place. How about Shaw? He is on a flying lap as he makes his way now down towards turn 2 and looking to try and prioritise, try and hit every single apex possible, flying now through turn 3, down the hill, under the Pirelli sign, and then back up the hill towards turn 4, using that curve on the right hand side to open up the corner as you then try and make your way through turn 4. Watch out for that curve on the inside of turn 5, don't touch that. Whatever you do, do not touch that curve. You will be sent spinning around, I guarantee it. Troy now making his way now through turn 8, through 9, just careful on the throttle. A little bit of a loss of back end on the exit of turn 9 as he now makes his way through 11. You can see that the back end wanting to step out. That's how much he attacked the curve towards the end there. The Gort goes even quicker then, 116.3 on a set of those soft tyres, and Jack is off.
Jack's off, and he was up. He was up as well. He's about 4/10 up through sector 1 nearly, so he's ruined it.
Lyronix as well on the exit of turn 4 has kicked the wall and has now lost a huge, well, in fact, all of his front wings, so no lap time improvement from either of them. Traw now goes up to 2nd place. He's onto the front row of the grid. We've got Warren here who could try and snatch away the front row here, but the Gort is currently on pole position right now. As Spike now goes up to 4th place, 2nd row is all he can do then in the Mercedes, 116.9. Let's see how Warren can do then, coming around the final couple of corners. Then now
2/10 up in sector 2.
So 2/10 up right now. That's provisional 2nd place. Can he keep it together out of the final corner towards the start finish line? Can Warren grab pole? No, he can't. 116.5. Not a bad attempt at all. But the Gort then is going to be on pole position for the Hungarian Grand Prix. What a result for the Red Bull driver. I don't think he was expecting that.
No, absolutely not, and he's still going round at the moment. I think he had enough time left. He got across the line in time. Will he improve any more? No, he doesn't. Not surprising in that one there. But yeah, fantastic lap. The only problem for the Red Bull driver is he's on the soft compound tyres. Everybody else in the top 10 except for Mays in 7th are on the medium compound tyres, going along that fault train that I had, which is that the medium tyre is the better race tyre, so he's going to need to scamper off into the distance. He's going to need every bit of bucking Bronco Bull that he can get from the back of that car to get away as quickly as possible, because he's going to be in the pits before the majority of the rest of the field. However, don't take the pole position away from him. Set it quite early, improved on it, and then improved on it again, and it puts him onto pole position. Spike in the chat started on 8-lap old hard tyres. Well, that's a good start. I don't want to be doing that one. Warren in the chat as well didn't do any medium running, so he's actually quite happy with second place there. And you can see the grid there for the Hungarian Grand Prix. The Gort in pole position with 16.3. Warren in second, 2 times down in the McLaren. Trot in third with Spike in fourth, rounding out the second row. Lighty in fifth with Lyronics in sixth, having crashed out on his final lap. Mays in seventh on the soft compound tyres. Lyronics, his best lap still on the hards, so that's an interesting one indeed. Sean in 8th, Jack in 9th, his best lap on the hards as well, and Henny rounds out the top 10 with Graham, Alan and the others further down. Sorry, I didn't catch them, so I was going far too slow because I didn't realise that Jack and Lyronics didn't better their hard compound lap times. Yeah, that's interesting.
What that means is Lyronics starts on 8-lap old hard tyres. Well,
I thought it was Spike that said that. It was my fault. It was Lyronics, yeah.
He can't read, and he can't read quickly. God, what are we going to do with you, Andy? Anyway, it's looking pretty overcast. From what we've seen from the weatherman in the chat is that it's supposed to stay dry. But what that means is, Andy, that it's going to be dry enough for dry tyres. That doesn't necessarily mean the rain's going to stay away.
No, I mean, the bit that it's going to make the difference on is it's going to be with the overcast conditions. Track's not going to hold the temperature like it normally would. So again, those hard compound tyres are going to take a while to heat up, and obviously 8-lap old ones as well for Lyronics. Not good at all. I just want to jump in here at the moment, Kieran, while we're looking through the formation laps. You can see top 10 tyres, everyone else on the mediums except for Navy, who crashed out early on the hards. Just to mention, anyone who follows us on Twitter, you can follow obviously at TTGaming Esports, myself at Andy81287, and I'll let Kieran do his in a minute because I can never remember it. But you might have noticed that today we announced that we are going to be doing a charity race. Provisional date at the moment is for the 4th of December, and it's in support of Mental Health UK. And well, for me, this is something that, stands quite close to me. I am someone who does actually suffer at this point in time presently from mental illness. I'm actually on antidepressants to help. It's something that a lot of people don't actually take the time to address, even with family and friends. There's a lot of people out there that suffer in silence. They struggle to comprehend what's going on, and I hope you can join us for what will be a fun night worth of action on the 4th. Keep an eye on the Twitter channels for more details. You'll also see details of where you can donate as well to the cause. It's a fantastic cause, and I hope you'll all support it as well. I'm sure everybody knows of someone who's suffered from mental health issues at some stage in their life, either in their family or friends, whether that be now or in the past or in the future. It's something that does come around eventually and affects everybody in some way, shape or form. So show your support and come join us on the 4th for a fun night's worth of action.
Yes, absolutely. Couldn't have put it better myself, Andy. Well, we've got the Hungarian Grand Prix coming up here for TTL F1, and the Gort is on pole position. It's his first pole position of the season, and we'll have to go some way back in the archives to find the last time the Gort put it onto that lovely pole position. It puts him on the racing line, but he'll be on the outside at turn 1. He has got the soft tyres though on, so in theory he should get a better pull away. He should get better traction off the starting line. That's all on paper, but let's see what actually happens then, as we are moments away from the Hungarian Grand Prix and the 6th round of TTL F1 season number 15. As the red lights start to count up, it is 5 red lights. Round 6 is underway, and what are the starts like? It felt like an eternity, those red lights, but we're underway, heading down towards turn 1. Both the front runners get a good start, and Troll gets a great start there from 3rd place. He looks down the inside in towards turn 1. The Toro Rosso might take the lead here. It's side by side they run now down towards turn 2, and Troll will have the outside line now, but Troll in the Toro Rosso has taken the lead in Hungary. What a fantastic start from the German. He now leads at the Hungary ring, but the Gort is not done yet then. It's a clean getaway from all the drivers now, making our way up through turn 4. It's a Constantina effect there. The Gort looking for a move up the inside at turn 5. Nothing doing there. Warren also in 3rd place there. Got a decent start, just couldn't really go anywhere with the front 2 battling away. It's Spike in 4th there. Lighty 5th with Sean in 6th. Jack up there in 7th place with Lyronics in 8th. Mays in 9th with Henny rounding out the top 10. Navy has come from the back of the grid. Now he's up in 11th place, so not a bad start from the Renault driver. Still a long way to go though, as we now make our way down the hill, descending down towards turn 12, and there's a car off in the background.
That was a huge point.
That is Henny there.
Yeah, that was massive. I just seen him fly off. His teammates now sliding through 12 as well. That was a huge one. How did he not hit anything? I just seen that flying along. Unbelievable.
Well, the Troll then goes around the final corner. Oh, Warren's lost the back end out of the final corner. He just about picks it up, and somehow he is not collected. But the McLaren driver running in 3rd place too early on the loud pedal, and he's now down to 10th place as it stands, with Navy trying to go around the outside at turn 1, but he's able to hold on to that one. Meanwhile, Sean and Jack are battling away for position now. Jack on the outside through turn 2. Sean is on the inside. Jack, the championship leader, wants to make a stand now. Through turn 3 they go. It's very close together as they now make their way up the hill through turn 4, and I think that battle's only going to go one way. Jack is able to take away P5 from the Ferrari of Sean, who now finds himself down to 6th place. But after that hectic first lap then, first lap and a half even, it is Troll who leads. The Gort's in 2nd, Spike 3rd, Lighty in 4th. We've got yellow flags in sector 2. There is someone who is off the circuit, and it is Alan Kay out of turn 4. So Jack there is in 5th place with Sean in 6th, Lyronic 7th, Mays 8th, Warren down to 9th, Navy in 10th, Graham 11th, Henny 12th, Charlie in 13th, George in 14th, and Alan Kay in 15th. All 15 drivers who started this race are currently still in it, and as far as I can tell, Andy, there's no one with any damage whatsoever.
No, not seen any visible damage, let's put it that way indeed, and I thought there was going to be, because on the run down to turn number 2 for the first time, Jack, Sean and Lyronics were 3 wide. The Mercedes driver was in the middle of it, and the Red Bull and the Ferrari just pinched him off as they headed into turn number 2, and he had to back out of it to avoid any damage, as Warren now starts making his recovery from that mistake at the end of the lap 1 up the inside on Maves, retaking 8th place. Lyronics didn't get the greatest of starts, he got swamped up a bit, late braking into turn 1 put him back into position at least, so he's only lost the 1 place off the starting grid, but it could have been a lot more if he hadn't been late on the brakes into turn 1. He's managed to keep himself pretty close to the back of Jack, Sean and Jack there, and coming up through turn 4 there, who was that really close? That was Mays and Navy, the 2 Reynolds were pretty much pushing each other through turn number 4 there. That's not what you want to be doing through here. Lyronics has already picked up a 3-second penalty for track warnings as well, so they're really pushing it, and Alan Kay out of the session. So if something's happened to the Alfa Romeo driver, I really said Salvo there, it's too late for doing that now, and that means the Irishman is unfortunately out of the race, not quite caught on camera what happened to him, unfortunately. But at least everyone else still running, and it's pretty clean at the moment with no damage visible.
Yeah, absolutely. Lap 3 then with DRS enabled. Troll still leads then from the Gort, but the Gort's got to be careful here because he's now got Spike right behind him. And well, the Gort would have had the advantage surely heading down towards turn 1. Didn't quite materialise that one. However, looks like the Renaults are switching places down the start-finish straight. Navy moves now up to 9th place and Mays moves down to 10th. That looked like Mays wasn't going to put up too much of a fight then to his teammate, and Navy now gets up to 9th place. Remember, he started from the back of the grid. He crashed out in qualifying and was now be trying to make his way back up through the order. Meanwhile, Warren there now in 8th place, running as high as 3rd, and he will not be enjoying that whatsoever. He'll be lamenting that one for a long time. That's the thing about Warren though, whenever he makes a mistake, he does seem to dwell on it quite a bit. He's not one of those drivers who keeps his head down. He does let it get to him a little bit as Jack gets the 3-second time penalty.
Yeah, Jack, the second driver, there's going to be plenty of them because some of them are really taking liberties with the curbs through the chicane at the top of the hill. I've just seen Warren basically all four wheels over the white line as he clattered his way over the sausage curb and on the inside of the corner. But he needs to keep his head down. He has had instances before where he's not, and there you go, he's just picked up a 3 second time penalty as he uses far too much curb and a bit of grass on the inside of turn 12. Just needs to calm down. He's got the better tyres at the moment in comparison to Ironics, especially. Even Jack a few places up the road as well. They're on hard tyres. They need to try and last as long as they can. Spike goes for the inside now on the Gort, and those soft compound tyres are likely to be going off pretty quickly. Obviously done qualifying as well, so they've now done about 8 laps by the time they get around this one. And maybe, just maybe, those soft compound tyres are starting to wilt away in the slight hazy heat that is here at the Hungaroring. So Spike now up to second after what even he'll say wasn't the best of qualifying, even though he got fourth. It was a little bit stop-start. I had to do it in the final lap, but up to second now. He's now going to chase after the Toro Rosso with Tro. But I'll tell you what, Tro and Lighty this season in the Toro Rosso have been absolutely fantastic, and I hope that continues through the rest of the season as well. It's been absolutely fantastic to see the Toro Rossos fighting up there, and great to see some brilliant driving from the two of them. In fact, Lighty now might fancy his chances in the sister car, the Red Bull, because he's right in at the back of the corner.
Yeah, absolutely, and those two have such a great chemistry together. When it was announced they were together for season 15, they were beside themselves. They were so happy to keep their partnership that they had in McLaren. They've got such a strong bond between them that it's almost difficult to separate them. If you sign one driver, Andy, you have to sign the other one.
It's almost like 2 peas in a pod and you get 2 for the price of 1. Well, Toro Rosso certainly got a good deal out of that, because they're doing very well in the Constructors' Championship as well, and right up there. And speaking of Lighty, here he goes on the Gort. What the heck happened there? I had a complete glitch with the Gort's car ghosted, and now I've got a lot of desync. Let's just ignore that. It looks like Lighty's managed to get the move done. I hope it was a lot cleaner on your screen than it was on mine, because, well, baby cars was all that came to mind there.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot cleaner, otherwise we would have seen one car into the wall. But what this means now is the Gort now running in 4th place, that's Jack in 5th, and the Gort there, well, he lets him go. It wasn't much of a gap there, but Jack thought, you know what, I'm going to take it anyway. So he now goes up to 4th place, and he will now be the next car to have a go at Lighty, although Lighty will want to try and get away. He's on the medium tyres in the German there.
The Gort is struggling on these tyres. I'm just on board with him now, and just watching the car, he's just struggling. Look how quickly Jack's pulled away on the hard compound tyres. Sean's already right on the rear gearbox off the Gort, and those soft compound tyres are just starting to struggle. I'm just going to watch him through 13 here. He's managed to get it into the apex okay, but yeah, he's coming for pit lane. Those tyres have had their day. And this is another bit as well that Warren pointed out in the chat that I didn't actually mention earlier. This pit lane's tricky. You want to attack it, but if you don't attack it too much, you're going to put yourself in the barrier that separates the track as well. It's happened before. Hopefully no one does that one tonight though, because that wouldn't be good. Gort's into pit lane, medium compound tyres, so that could be a 2-stopper for the Red Bull driver. He's underway again. Warren's into pit lane as well. What tyres is he going on to? He's going on to the hard compound tyres, so he could technically go to the end of the race, but that's a bit of a stretch on the end of start of lap 7, end of lap 6 to get them to the end of the race. So we'll keep an eye on that. I think the Gort will be in the pit for a second time though. Soft to mediums, I think he'll go soft, medium and do a 2-stop, but you really need to get the foot down.
Yeah, it could be that, or he might be going, oh, as I've clicked the wrong button there, he might be going for that 1-stop. The medium tyres apparently, according to some of the drivers, do last quite a long time around here, so maybe he's looking to go to the end of the race. Who knows? But meanwhile, Spike has really closed up to the back of the car in front, which is Straw. 4/10 is the gap now as they make their way towards the start-finish straight. A little bit of lock up there from Spike on entry into 13 as we make our way through turn 14. What can Spike do? Making his way around the final corner and on towards the start-finish straight. You can see there Straw instantly goes defensive to try and break the slipstream as we make our way down towards turn 1. Spike here looking for a move, but I think He's thinking about the DRS stretch down towards turn 2. Look at that, he's prioritised his exit out of turn 1 down towards turn 2, but I think Traw's just held on for now. Meanwhile, Sean and Lyronics are battling on the exit of turn 1 all the way now down towards turn 2. Lyronics has the inside line and takes that position away. He'll park it on the apex, no way for Sean to go, and Lyronics moves up a position, up to P5 he goes.
Nice driving from the two of them. Lyronics round the outside of turn 1, got traction despite the... Oh, Sean's away! He's off turn 4, he's hit that curb on the inside, he's spun, he's destroyed the front wing, he's thankfully still got all 4 wheels on the wagon, but damaged front wing. He's going to be in pit lane now, and that was, you said it yourself, that curb on the inside at turn 4, you clatter too much of that, and that's what happened. It caught Navy out in qualifying. I think it caught George out on lap number 1. That might even have been what happened to Alan, put him out of the race, who knows, because we didn't catch that one. But Sean's the latest victim of that tricky turn 4, and that could ruin his strategy as well, because he's maybe looking to go longer than this. He certainly wouldn't want to be pitting at the end of lap 8, I would imagine, on the medium compound tyres. But Lyronics, remember that 7 laps on those hard compound plus 8 in qualifying, so 15 laps, and it looked like he still had the grip as if they were quite new, so he's looking good at the moment as George has just stuck one up the inside on Charlie into turn number 12. That was a last of the late breakers, but it looks as if he got the move done. Charlie had to give him a bit of space, and Sean's made it back to pit lane, so he's going to drop down the field. 14 runners still in the race, so thankfully.
Trying to go round the outside at turn 2 on Lighty. He'll have the inside line now for turn 3, and he takes it. He takes third place away from Lighty. That was a bold move from Jack, but a great one at that, and he now moves himself on towards that third step on the podium. Great battling between the two of them, great respect as well, plenty of space given to either driver, but Jack there round the outside made it stick, and now look at this, he's 1.7 behind Spike there. Now Traw and Spike are battling. That could mean Jack could try and reel in this gap and see if he can really take that into his second stint.
Definitely so, and it's his best chance while they two are having a bit of a ding-dong to try and make the move stick and try and get it done now. The Gort's got himself into the traffic now in 11th on his fresh tyres. Oh, and that's him! That's George off at the chicane. George has just stuffed it off at the chicane. I think he caught the curb on the exit into the wall on the left-hand side. He's got damage. He's got himself back on track now, though. Just trying to see exactly how much damage he's got, but he's definitely damaged the front wing in some way, shape or form. So he's heading back to pit lane. The Gort's got himself through. Warren's coming back through as well, though. What the heck happened there? Those three are fighting it out, and Warren is now ahead of the Gort, having been behind at the start of the race and then spinning on lap 1. And McLaren on a roll. George retires from the session. Oh, they carried on, to be honest, as the Gort's back into pit lane, so he must have got damage there. Did you catch any of that? Because I was just jumped it.
No, I didn't catch any of that, I'm afraid, but we'll have to see now, because that's the Gort definitely now on a 2-stop, that's for sure. And maybe your prediction has come true, maybe in the wrong fashion there, Andy.
Definitely so. Wing change and hard compound tyres, so he's got no choice really now but to try and push it to the end of the race. Spike, meanwhile, is all over the rear gearbox of Traw up ahead. Need to keep an eye. Lyronics is closing up on Lighty as well, so they're the closest cars on track. Top 2 and the battle for 4th and 5th. Just noticed a message in chat from Michael Yarman. Any space in the league, message TTG Maze, who's who you want to speak to, or if you're on Twitter, go to our Twitter page at TTL_F1 and send us a direct message, and we'll get in touch and let you know what the situation is in regards to that. If you are interested in joining up, maybe we'll see you on the track sometime one Thursday night. Here goes Spike, though. You can see Traw once again pulling to the right hand side, trying to break the slipstream. Here comes the Mercedes. Traw's come back to the racing line, but he's gave him a card's whiff. Spike's going to go try and take it round the outside. Who's got the traction on exit? The Mercedes has got it. Much better traction on the way out. A bit of DRS to help as well. Traw trying to hold on round the outside into turn 2, but he's going to have to concede that, and Spike pulls in front and gets the move done. So Traw, having taken the lead on lap 1, finally relinquishes it on lap 11, and Spike has moved up into the lead of the race. Now, can the Mercedes driver pull away? Traw is a quick driver, we know that. Can he stick with him? And we need to keep an eye on Jack. He's still 1.6 down, but he is in the hard compound tyres, and he's pulling Lighty and Lyronics along with him. We could end up with quite a scrap before the end of this race if they stick like this all the way through the pit stops.
Oh, we absolutely could. Lyronix is right on the tail of Lighty as we make our way through this S section, through turn 10, then through turn 11. Lighty on the medium tyres, Lyronix on the hard tyres, making their descent down towards sector 3 and then through turn 12. Of course, turn 12 where we saw Kimi Räikkönen full opposite lock going into turn 12 and still making the move stick. A great move that was. I love that one.
That's what happens when you learn to drive on a finished back road. There's so many yumps and humps and everything that you just know how to drive sideways. I'll say one thing, I think Chaw's starting to struggle. Jack's gained 6 tenths just in the last sector there after the Chaw got passed by Spikes. Lyronix has a look, try and cut back on YT. He's got DRS as they head down towards turn number 2. YT's shutting the door, but he's just left him enough of a width. Cars width and no more into turn 2. Side by side they go, and it's going to be Lighty that holds him. But now Lyronix has got a better run out of turn 3. They're not going to go side by side through turn 4. This is suicide, and Lighty reluctantly but bravely, in my opinion, backs out. That was very clever. Lyronix put in a position off. I've got the racing line, I've got the corner, you make the choice if we're going to have a crash or not. And Lyronix makes his way through. Keep an eye there, Navy from the back of the grid is starting to come into this as well, so this is really starting to hot up. And of course, with the likes of Jack, Lyronix and Navy on the hard compound tyres, they're going to be running longer than Spike, Chaw and Lighty as well, so the strategies are still to play out. We've still got a good bit of time before we see these guys into pit lane, and they're pretty much nose to tail. In fact, the top 6 are covered by just under 6 seconds. We're on lap 12 and there's 6 seconds between the top 6. Am I dreaming?
No, you're not, Andy. You're very much awake. But Jack here now has the slipstream, and Chaw's trying to break that slipstream between the two of them. Well, I just wanted to touch on that Lyronix overtake through turn 5. That was very Senna-esque. That's the way I'll describe that move. He put himself in a position where he said, right, you're in control of having a crash, as you said, Andy. You make the choice. But as Martin Brundle found out in the F3 days, he decided to have an accident.
Yeah, so he was like, I'm not going to be bullied by you, but no, I think Lighty make the right decision there, considering there's still a long way to go in this race. Jack and Lyronix have 3-second time penalties as well. In fact, there's Lyronix picking up another one, so that's him on to 6 seconds added to his race time at the end, so he's really going to need to motor along, but he's doing an amazing job at the moment. Those hard compound tyres have now done 20 laps, because remember, he started the race on them.
Jack's into the wall, contact with Chaw there, going through turn 10. Was that Jack trying to go up the inside, trying to make a move work? I only saw that very late. I just saw the contact between them. There was definite wheel-to-wheel contact, and now Jack into the wall has a decision to make now. He can try and extend the stint, but look how little grip he has now through the S section. It's going to be crucial there. That Red Bull is going to have to pit. That could have been a potential race win thrown away.
Could possibly be, definitely so, and I just skipped back on the stream because I completely missed that, and just from that camera angle you got, it did look like he was trying to put the car up the inside, maybe seen a bit of fresh air, went for it, and it closed away as quick as anything. It was just like when the smokers going out for a smokers break. There was no fresh air left after that one. The door was closed. You shall not pass, said the Toro Rosso, although Navy's just gone around the outside of him, so Lighty does lose the place eventually, but instead it's to the banana car in 5th place, now 4th for Navy, 5th for Lighty.
You shall pass, maybe, says the Toro Rosso. Well,
it's meme central in here, we're great, it's fine.
It's absolutely fine, we're alright. Warren then gets past Graham down into turn 1 and now moves up to 7th place. And he is on a set of hard tyres, trying to get these tyres now to the end of the race. What's interesting though is that Warren started on a set of those medium tyres. He's now on a set of hards, looking to try and make those last to the end of the race. There's no question they will make it to the end. There's no doubt about that. But I wonder if we spent enough time on those medium tyres to really extract the full performance out of them.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to get the hards to the end of the race. It's just a case of how much are left of them come the end of the race to actually still keep the lap times up and maybe defend off from some guys coming through. I mean, if maybe not Lyronix because he's done 8 laps in qualifying on them because he didn't get a good lap in on the final stint, but you know, Navy, for example, he could, if he can extend it as long as possible, he could maybe even go soft compound tyre at the end. You never know. It just depends how long they can take them into the race. So for Warren, is he going to have enough left at the end to defend people off? IT into pit lane from 5th place. He's getting off the mediums. He's going onto the hard compound tyres, so he's going to have no issues getting to the end of this race now. So that puts Jeffrey Henney up into 5th place in the racing point. Warren is going to go past and take 6th away, or is he in fact? Lighty might. He's going to have to defend as soon as he's came out of pit lane here, and I know Lyronix is pretty close to the back of Troll, so I don't know where to look. Keep an eye on Warren because there's the closest one at the moment, I would say, in terms of good on-track position, and Lighty's held the position for now, but Lyronix, 21 lap old tyres, and he is pushing this thing along, and he is doing really good. Troll is struggling along now in the medium compound tyres, and these hard tyres, despite their length of time, despite their lifespan that they've done already, seem to be working an absolute treat. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe the hard compound tyre is the better race tyre.
And maybe Warren's thinking that then. Maybe he's seen what the pace is like for Lyronix and thought, you know what, I want some of that. He's got himself relatively clear air, as now
top two in the
Lyronix.
pits.
So Spike and Traw now into the pits. Lyronix then will take over the lead of this race then. So where will Spike and Traw, or Spike and Traw rejoin? But Traw's got himself now a 5-second stop-go penalty. He cannot serve that in this stop. Jack gets himself a 3-second time penalty. That will be added to the end of his race. Traw's penalty will be added onto the end of his race time. If he doesn't make another stop, if he does make another pit stop, he will serve the 5-second penalty, with the team not being able to work on the car for 5 full seconds. There's Warren then, who actually gets ahead of, where have Spike and Traw rejoined? So they've rejoined.
No, they've came out 4th and 5th, so yeah, that's worked out nicely.
Yeah, by 2.2 seconds as well.
I think what happened is that Troll was ready to go, but Spike was coming down pit lane. The mechanics couldn't release the Toro Rosso. It's cost him a second and a half at least there in pit stop time.
They weren't brave enough, Andy, to release the car, and it's cost Troll a mountain of time. He's not out of this one yet, though. He's on those those hard tyres now towards the end of this race. We've already seen that start he had was mega at the very first few laps of this race. He's now going to try and find that pace once again. Spike, meanwhile, has to try and find a way past Jeffrey Henney, who has yet to stop in this race.
Watch this.
And he's hedging his bets on turn 12. Will it happen though? Down the inside he goes into turn 12. And there's a little bit of contact between them. Henney's battling this one as they head down towards turn 13. Spike is around the outside surely with the superior grip. He will get the position, and he does. And Henney exits stage right and comes into the pit lane. Meanwhile, Lyronix is into the pits then. So what will that have done to this battle then? There is Spike making his way down the start-finish straight, and Lyronix there rejoins behind both Spike and Traw, then heading down towards turn 1.
But he's ahead of Lighty.
By much. He is ahead of Lighty, and remember, Traw has a 5-second stop-go penalty that he'll have to serve at some point in this race. So 5 seconds will be added on. Meanwhile, Henney and Graham are double stacking. There's a breakdown of communication there, as that's going to take an age for the Racing Point cars to work on Graham's car there, especially if they weren't prepared for that. That would have cost them a mountain of time. Sean, meanwhile, is now rejoined. He's trying to battle Henney now as they head down towards turn 2. He's looking for that inside line. You can see there Henney's left in the room there, but a little bit of contact. Sean, for me, sort of understeered into the Racing Point there, had to back out of the move, so Henney holds on to 9th place.
Yeah, holds on for now, but Sean's looking a lot quicker. Even though Henny's just out on fresh tyres, Sean looking a bit quicker at the moment. Lyronix is all over the back of Troll. You did mention obviously Troll having that 5-second penalty for speeding in pit lane. Remember, Lyronix is on 6 seconds worth of penalties for corner cutting, so they're pretty even. Troll's actually got a second advantage, but Lyronix on the medium compound tyres, it's still going to be a pretty long way to take them, but yeah, he's going to have to push, I think, while the sun shines right now, while he's got the grip. Doesn't want to take too much life out, but he needs to go, because if he wants a good result, he needs to make the best of this while he's got the advantage, and he makes the easy move down into turn 1 with DRS and Lyronix back up into 3rd position. But I'll tell you what, the man out front, Navy, back of the grid to 1st in the race now, and he's looking very, very good. And if you look at the lap times as well, he's done a 1:24, so it's not the fastest, but he's been consistently keeping it in the 1:20s and somewhere in that range, so he can make these tyres last a good bit longer. He's still in the fight for a good result here tonight, that's for sure.
And the most important thing is that he has clean air. Really, the only other driver in that top 6 that has clean air is Spike.
Jack. Well, it's Spike for the top 2, yeah. I mean, if you go down the field, I mean, Jack's got 4 seconds before he catches Warren. Maze has got 8 to Jack, so you know there's a few there, but in the top 5, yes, apart from Navy, Spike's the only other one with clean air. Lyronix is a second and a half in gaining behind his teammate. Traw's a second and a half and slowly but just gently falling back from the Mercedes, and Toro Rosso not too far off, and Warren catching them up as well. Remember, apart from Navy, who's not pitted, Warren is on the oldest tyres out of the top 6 apart from Navy, and that's just purely because Navy hasn't pitted. Warren pitted early after having a spin at the end of lap number 1. That would no doubt have just wore the tyres down, especially the rears, pretty quickly, and he's going to try and make these last to the end of the race, but he needs to keep some life in them as well if he wants to have a chance of either attacking or defending at the end of his race. This race is poised, very finely poised, on a strategical setup, and who knows where this one could end up.
Absolutely. Well, the 2 Mercedes drivers really, well, they've had a struggling start to the season. Obviously, Lyronix missed a round because he was having surgery. I can't remember. The round he missed eludes me at this point in time. I'm sure I can look it up. But he's
Baku,
determined.
I think
it was Baku. You're right. Round 3 that was. Or round 2. No, that was round 2. So he's looking to get back up there and in the order. And with Jack not having the greatest race, he's met the wall in this race, has Jack. So this is Lyronix's opportunity to get as many points on Jack as possible. Other drivers that need to take the advantage, Traw, who's currently 3rd place in the championship. This just shows you how consistent he is now.
Navy's in the pits as well, so the Mercedes are now fighting for the lead, but yeah, it's fantastic consistency from Traw and YT as well, and I think here Spike's probably just going to allow his teammate to just gently breeze on by under DRS as well, although then again he's defending, so he's not going to give that one up easy enough, even though he knows his teammate's got the better tyres, and Spike's fighting for everything there. Lyronix having to do a little weave just to make sure the car was alright. Navy's came back out on the medium compound and he's just come out ahead of Warren, who's all over the back of him, but keep an eye on Navy because he's going to be motoring along pretty quickly. Up towards turn 4 come the Mercedes, and Lyronix is going to have to hold on, you'd imagine, for now, but you can see just how much more grip he's got. Oh, he's got a big sideways moment there.
That's the exact curb I was talking about, turn 5. If you even put one wheel on that curb, the back end just doesn't like it at all. That's a lock-up for Lyronix. That's taken life out of the tyres. He's got to be careful. He's got 16 laps to get to the end of this race here. And I'm not sure. Spike just seems to have the edge as we head into the DRS zones. Lyronix has got the grip through the corners, but that's only going to last so long.
Yeah, definitely so lucky there for Lyronix that he didn't end up in a barrier somewhere, because they are pretty close there, just catching that curb, as you say. These curbs are a bit lethal in some places. They're quite curved edged and they're not the usual flat runoff and a little bit of a camber on them. These ones can be quite brutal, and that one especially through turn 5, one prime example. Up towards turn number 1 we go. Navy on the back of YT with the fresh compound tyres, as Warren has decided to come into the pits, so he's 14 laps in the hard compound tyre and he's had enough of them, going for a set of mediums. Maze in as well too for another pit stop. Navy round the outside with much more grip in that Renault, and nicely done there from the Dutchman, up to 4th place, and he's got one Toro Rosso. He's now going to go after the other one now, so Spike still leads from Lyronix, 2nd, Traw in 3rd, Navy now 4th, YT 5th. And who's that round? Traw's round! Traw at turn 4. He's caught the curb, I bet you.
Unbelievable! So he's now cut that curb. Does he have any damage to the Toro Rosso? Yeah, he does look like he does have damage on the left-hand side of that front wing. I can't even see it, but going from the grip pad through turn 5, yeah, that's exactly what's happened. And Traw here, who was looking so good to try and take advantage here of Jack, who was down the order. Well, now Jack is up to 5th place.
Yeah, definitely so, but I'll tell you what, that's an absolute gift for Navy, because that's one less car he needs to pass now. I think the Renault's on for a really good chance of going from last to first here. We've all seen the YouTube challenges, and Navy's about to do it in league racing if he can keep going, but Ironics will have something to say about that as he tries for another time to go by under DRS, but it gets spiked so late in the brakes into turn number 1. The Mercedes are battling each other like it's for the championship right now. Final round, it's Hamilton and Rosberg. Spike goes to the inside on the switchback, but he can't find the move, and Ironics has finally got the move done on his teammate, but, well, if Total Wolf was watching this, he'd be having an aneurysm about now.
I think I'm having an aneurysm just watching that. Meanwhile,
just a bit.
Warren finds a way past Henny down the main straight in towards turn 1. The Straw limps his way back to the pit lane. That's going to hurt for the Toro Rosso driver. He might actually drop out of the points here, because Graham is going past. Yeah, Shaw does drop out of the points, so it's going to be a real recovery drive now to just try and score as many points as he possibly can, Andy.
Yeah, definitely so, and I'll tell you what, from being on pole position and obviously after the early pit stop and then having to make a second pit stop as well, the Gorts just seem to have had no pace at all on the hard compound tyres. He is not making much progress through the field at the moment, down in 9th position. He's making a few attempts now that he's been on the tyres for a little bit, but he was struggling to make some pace earlier on, and, well, from being in first position and pole position to dropping all the way down the field, an unexpected second pit stop obviously didn't help him at all, and not the greatest of results for him. Jack, though, meanwhile, looks like he's going to be maybe within a lap of being possible of having a go at Light if we use the infamous AWS tracker. Overtaking opportunity in one lap, I would say, because he's going to have to wait till next time by, unless, of course, Lighty makes a mistake like his teammate did. Hopefully he doesn't, for his sake, but when you're under pressure from a former champion, anything can happen. Jack, obviously season 13 champion, trying to reclaim his crown.
Yeah, I think AWS says 84% chance of an overtake down in towards turn 1. Let's see what can happen then, as Jack now makes his way in towards turn 8, then through turn 9. You can see there these medium tyres are starting to come into their own, in towards turn 10, then through turn 11. As he clips that curve on the outside, runs wide on the exit of turn 11. That's not going to be very good at all. In fact, that could actually go against him as a warning for track limits. As we make our way now down towards turn 13. We've got one corner to go, then Jack can use that DRS to try and get away past down and towards turn 1. I said 84% chance, even with running wide at turn 11. Oh, Lighty's made a mistake out of the final corner, and here comes Jack then with the DRS heading down towards turn 1. He's in the marbles, remember, but now the braking zone of turn 1 comes up. He's on the inside here. Lighty will try and go around the outside, but nothing doing then. Jack moves up to 4th place, and with that mistake from the Toro Rosso driver out of turn 14, it rather handed that position on a silver platter to Jack.
Definitely so, and he did pick up a warning for that running wide, as you mentioned, through turn 11 at the back end of sector 2. But yeah, for the first time, AWS tracking by us manually has actually got it right. The good thing is we would probably be saying that the tyres have got about 10% left, but hey, we'll pass over that one. Navy slowly catching up to the back of Spike now, 2.6 seconds. That gap was 4 seconds a few laps ago, so Navy really starting to come into his own. Remember, Lyronix has got 6 seconds of penalty. I think Jack's got 6 seconds as well. Spike with only 2 warnings. Navy with only 1 warning at the moment. Lighty with penalty, so Navy is still in the box seat along with Spike, because they've got no penalties just now. If they can keep it that way, that's going to make a big difference come the end of the race, because those around them have got around about 6 seconds at least if you look at Lyronix and Jack, and obviously they're picking up more warnings as they're just pushing as much as they can to try and close up. So if the second and third can keep it clean, then this is a good chance. But I really do think that Navy's got a fantastic chance of doing a league racing last to first challenge here tonight. He's really in the groove by the looks of it at the moment. That car's looking really nice. Made that mistake in qualifying, but he's not let it get him down. He's just dusted himself off, and he's on for a brilliant result. I think he's got a really good chance of doing this.
Don't try and jinx it too early here. We've still got 11 laps to go. Well, Mays here is trying to close up onto the racing point of Graham here as we make our way through turn 14 and on towards the start-finish straight. Mays has some DRS, or have some slipstream as well. Can Graham do anything to defend down towards turn 1? You can see the Renault closing and closing. Now Mays launching it down the inside into turn 1. The Racing Point will try and go around the outside to try and keep the position, but on fresher tyres, Mays gets the move done, and he now moves into a point-scoring position.
Yeah, up into 10th position. I don't know what, I know you had it on the onboard camera, but from the outside that looked so smooth on the brakes. Just pulled out at the last second, nice and easy. It looked an absolute dream of a pass, that one from Mays, so really nicely done. Up into the points, he's got 4 seconds to catch what is to me a struggling Red Bull of the Gort, the pole sitter, who is, I believe, part of the retirees yet. The Gort is the biggest loser, down 8 places. Navy, of course, who we were just speaking about, the biggest gainer. He's up 12 at the moment, trying to see if he can gain a couple of more before the end of the race. He's now within DRS. He's going to have to obviously follow Spike round this lap, keep the gap at least where it is. He might fancy his chances down into turn 1 next time by, and on those medium tyres he is really flying along. He's just, look at that, through turn 4 he went from 8 tenths to 5 tenths just through turn 4. That's how much grip those tyres are giving that Renault right now. He is trying his best to make hay. Again, as I say, but while the sun shines, he's got only 6 laps on them. We've got 10 to go, including the one we're on. Should easily be able to make that to the end of the race, and he's motoring along at the moment, and I think he might fancy his chances this time by Traw. Just gone by on Graham down in 11th place. He's going to try and catch up to the other Renault and take that point away from Mays, who I'm sure he'll defend it with his life if he can.
I'm sure he will. The other Renault of Navy has really closed up to the back of Spike. Once again, heading through the final corner, Spike is looking for that perfect apex to help him down the start-finish straight. Of course, Navy will have a big dose of DRS. He'll have a big dose of slipstream as well as we make our way down towards turn 1. You can see there Navy closing and closing onto the Mercedes of Spike. Oh, comes very, very close to the back of that car then. Very close to chipping off a part of that front wing. But this is going to be interesting now, especially for Navy. He's currently behind Spike. The more time he's behind Spike, the more Lyronix's gap increases. The more laps go by, the less opportunity there is for Navy to catch up and pass. Of course, we've got the penalties in effect, but of course, we've still got 9 laps to go. Navy could pick up a penalty, you just don't know.
You just never know, indeed, absolutely. He needs to keep it clean, so, but I do agree with you. He wants to try and he'll need to get a good run through Sector 3, but it's so hard to stay close to the car in front through this sector here, through Sector 2, the winding section as Traw just goes up the inside of Mays into turn 1. But this is where Navy's going to struggle, because he's following the dirty air of the car ahead through these corners. He needs the downforce to get the braking done right, and obviously through here, like turn 13, it's going to take the air off the front wing. It's just going to wash wide, and you can see Spike just taking that wider line to straighten the car out like an arrow and just send it down the front straight. He's got the battery turned up, and here we go. This is a very good chance now for the Renault. Down towards turn 1, he's going to have to go late. Spike goes to the inside to defend. Switchback up coming, but Spike sees it coming, parks it on the apex. Navy's going to have to go the long way round at turn 2. Spike has to give him the car's width now. Can Navy go right the way round the outside? He's trying, they're wheel to wheel through turn 3, and that's a fantastic move if he can make it done. Spike's going to battle it, they're bumping wheels side to side up to turn 4. Who backs out of it? Spike cuts across the corner a little bit. Fantastic driving from the two of them, and Navy up to second place. What a phenomenal move there from the Dutchman.
What a phenomenal move, and game on with 8 laps to go. 6.5 seconds separates himself and Lyronix. The favour and the odds are in Navy's favour right now. Last to first. Can it actually be done, Andy?
Well, it's looking like it's 6.6 seconds at the moment. He's got tyres that are 3 laps fresher than Lyronix up ahead as well, and obviously Lyronix with at least 6 seconds worth of penalties, so the odds are definitely stacked in the Renault's favour at the moment. Could he be on his way to victory here at the Hungarian Grand Prix? This could be an absolutely phenomenal victory. Easily going to be driver of the day no matter what happens, I think, with this result, as long as he gets to the end of the race obviously. But it's been a phenomenal drive so far. Lap 29 to 35, 6 to go now. This is going to be a thrilling finish. Can Lyronix, having had to start on 8-lap-old hard tyres, meaning he had to pit a few laps earlier than he maybe would have liked to have done, can he hold on? Can he take the victory? Or will it be Navy? This is a tantalising finish. Don't go anywhere if you've been watching along. Thank you for joining us. This is going to be one heck of a finish, as JR and WWE EEW would say. This is going to be an absolute barnstormer.
I thought you were going to go with Slobber Knocker, but never mind.
I was thinking of that one, but we'll go with the barnstormer this time.
Well, here's an interesting one for you. First, second and third in this race right now, between them, have one race win this entire season. Jack, who's in fourth place, has 2 wins in the season. So this is going to be a battle of who wants this win the hardest. You'll see Jack there closing up to Spike. Don't actually rule him out for a late charge for that last podium spot. But Lyronix has extended that gap to Navy. He's obviously got the hurry up here from the Mercedes team. The gap's now 7.2 seconds. Lyronix, who didn't finish at Bahrain with 6 laps to go here in Hungary. He didn't show at Baku because he went through an operation. When he came back to Monaco, he finished second. France, he finished third. Britain, he finished second. So far this season, that win has eluded him. But can he finally break that duck and win here in Hungary?
Oh, it would be something else. As you say, one win between the top 3, and it was Navy who won in Baku. As you can see, that was the Alpha of Charlie there. And I've got to say, I don't like that bit in this new patch. I wish there was an option where you could turn it on or off. Lapped cars ghost, and part of the art of being a race driver in real life is how you get through the back markers, and just having them ghost just makes it far too easy. And I really hope they patch that in very soon, and at least give you the option of turning it on or off. That's what I would like to see. Lighty's out somewhere. What's happened to Lighty? I'm on board with Warren here as he comes through turn 3, and I get the feeling turn 4's claimed another victim.
This looks like
I see yellow flags
on the inside curve.
Yeah.
That inside curve has caught another driver out. So Lighty there, who was going to be the highest finishing Toro Rosso, now out of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Such a shame for Lighty. It's his first DNF of the season. In fact, it's the first DNF for a Toro Rosso this season. Such a huge, huge heartbreak for Lighty. He was running so well, but unfortunately for him, his race is over.
Yeah, unfortunately, and that's put Jeffrey Henney up to 6th position, which I think is going to be, if he was to stay there, a season best result for the Dutchman in Racing Point. It's been obviously a tricky season for Racing Point. They lost the defending champion Lyronix to Mercedes for the new season. There have been not too many points so far for Jeffrey and for Graham. They've been trying their absolute best, of course, but it's just not happened for him so far. So he's on for a good result here if he can hold on. He has got the Ferrari of Sean catching up pretty quickly, but then he's got 10 seconds to the Gort and Tro, who are battling over 8th and 9th at the moment. It's been a race to forget for the Gort, having been on pole position. The soft tyres went off very quickly at the start of the race, came into the pits, then a few laps later had to come back in. Damage to the front wing with an instant we didn't quite catch on stream, which I believe was possibly with D-Ward. And here goes Tro up the inside on the Red Bull into turn 1, and that is at 8th place, and the Gort down to 9th from pole position as Warren just picks up a 3-second time penalty as well. Shouldn't affect him come the end of the race. Jack now though has closed up to the back of Spike, and I'll tell you what, Lyronix is doing a heck of a job out front. He's extending it still, that lead. 7.8 seconds now. Navy just doesn't have an answer now in clean air. He's just sat there, kept the tyres, says Lyronix, and then when he's seen what's happened, he's gone, right, hurry up, time to go, hammer time, and he's doing what he needs to do. He just needs to avoid running over any curbs now and picking up more warnings. I'm actually going to have a look at his warning situation, because that could be interesting.
I'm having a look at Jack actually. He's closing up to Spike, but in both DRS zones he didn't open his DRS. Is that an issue there for Jack? Also, what's the penalty situation like for Jack?
So Jack has 6-second penalties, and he's got at least 2 more warnings on this latest stint. So he's going to, it doesn't matter if he gets by Spike, he's going to have to pull 3 seconds clear if he wants to take the podium. So Spike's probably aware of that. He probably won't fight it too much as long as he can stick close to the rear of that Red Bull, because he'll pick it up on penalties. Lyronix has got 6 seconds worth of penalties. He's 7.9 seconds clear, but since he picked up his last penalty, he's not picked up a single warning since. so he's looking good at the moment if he can keep it on the straight and narrow. But we've seen him have a spin in qualifying that took the front wing off. We've seen him clip the curb at turn 5 and do a bit of a drift as well, so he needs to keep it away from the curbs. Navy's still going to be a fantastic race from the Dutchman though, no matter what way you look at it. He's still got a chance of winning this one, but he needs to find 1.7 seconds in the last 3 laps if he wants to have any hope of taking the victory here and becoming a 2-time winner and taking away Lyronix's first win in his championship defence season.
It's all to play for here with 3 laps to go. Jack is still trying to close into Spike, who's ahead of him right now as we make our way up towards turn 4 here. Charging through again, very brave on that curve, both drivers there using those curves, and then you see them both avoid the right hand curve on the inside of turn 5, just going nowhere near it. They know what's going to happen. We've seen it before in this race, and they're steering well clear of it, quite literally steering well clear of it. But now Lyronix has extended that gap to the Renault behind to just over 8 seconds. What's seeming a tough task for Navy now almost seems impossible.
This is what you call a champion's drive. He's came into this race, we've mentioned it a few times, on the hard compound tyres that he'd pounded round and done 8 laps on in qualifying. He was started on them because his best lap was on them. His fast lap at the end in the mediums was ruined by a mistake which cost him his front wing, but he's extending the lead where he needs to. This is a champion's drive at the moment. He's got 2 laps to go. We're now on the penultimate lap of the race. If he can just keep it there until the end of the race, he's going to finally take that first victory of the season. This could even put him back into some sort of contention for the end of the season, because as you say, when you went through those results since Monaco, you've been in the podium every time from Monaco through Britain and now up to here as well, so, and France as well. Let's not forget the Paul Ricard circuit. So he's really pulling himself back into it after that DNF in round 1 and missing round 2 with being in surgery. So this could be a fantastic result for him there. Jack all over the back of Spike, but unless Spike makes a dramatic mistake, it's going to be all in vain for the Red Bull driver and the championship leader, even if he does get by, because of his penalty situation. You can see he's still pushing. Oh, he's running wide. He probably picked up another warning for that.
Well, Lyronix, as it stands, if it finishes like this, the gap between Lyronix and Jack comes down by 13 points. At the moment, before the checkered flag falls, as Lyronix starts the final lap of the race, the gap between the 2 drivers, if my maths is correct, which it's not, but it's 43 points. If it finishes like this, the gap comes down to 31 points with, what's that, 4 rounds to go.
Yeah, it's going to be game on indeed, and obviously it's going to be tricky for him still with that points gap, because we know Jack is quick, but all it takes is one bad week and it's game on all over again. But that yellow flag you seen prop up there was Charlie having a spin coming out of turn 12, only caught the end of that for the Alpha driver. He's going to finish down in 12th position here tonight. Mays looks like he's going to take that final point in 10th. They got in 9th from pole position after 2 stops, and Traw's going to finish in 8th. Sean's dropped off the back of Jeffrey Henny, so it's going to be a good result for, goodness me, Jack's really pushing it through there, running well wide, taking out the 150 metre board as he ran too far wide on the curb there. But Jeffrey's going to pick up a season best 6th for Racing Point. A fantastic result there for him, but what a drive. It's all about the champion.
It's all about the reigning champion at this moment in time. Round the final corner, the duck is going to be broken. Lyronix will take his first race win of the season. He wins in Hungary. A brilliant drive from Lyronix on used medium tyres, 8-lap-old medium tyres he started this race on, and he wins it in style. Navy comes across the line from last place on the grid to grab 2nd place, and Spike grabs a podium, his first podium since Bahrain at round 1. He'll be absolutely delighted with that one. Jack finishing off the podium then in 4th place. He hasn't done that since round 1, where he finished 5th in Bahrain. Warren then making his way around the final corner. What might have been, but he's the highest 2-stop runner at the end of this race. He finishes in 5th place there with both him and Charlie Charlie doing their ceremonial taking off the front wing. That's how you know it's been a frustrating race for both of those drivers. Jeffrey Henney then will come across the line for his season best finish of 6th place. A fantastic result for the Racing Point team. Sean will come across the line in 7th place, and Troy then, after his mistake, will come across the line in 8th place. The Gort will come across the line in 9th place. The pole sitter will grab 2 points for this one, and Mays will come across the line to grab the final point scoring position and finishes in 10th place. And Graham then, rounding the final corner, will take the last finishing position. He will be the last finisher on the lead lap. But it's all about this man, the German, in the Mercedes, finally gets a race win this season. He gets it at the Hungarian Grand Prix. Lyronic's your race winner.
As I said during the stream there, that is a champion's drive. 8 lap old hard tyres to start the race. An earlier than wanted pit stop. 6 seconds worth of penalties. Navy coming through the field to second. Looked like he had the pace, but Lyronic's got the hurry up when he needed it and pulled the gap out despite having the slightly older tyres. That is the drive of a champion. That is why he won last year, and that is a fantastic result. I'm still going to give my driver of the day though to Navy for coming through the fields from last and recovering from qualifying, but you could just as easily give it to Lyronix for his management of that race. Fantastic stuff, really good action all round, and absolutely brilliant to see. And quite a few people with no penalties, which is brilliant to see as well.
Lots of winners of the Andy Campbell No Penalty Award. But here are your official, unofficial results. It is Lyronix who grabs his first race win of the season. Navy from last place finishes in 2nd. A great drive from the Dutchman. Spike then rounds off the podium. It's his first podium since round 1. Jack off the podium for the first time since round 1. Lots of round 1 stats here. Warren then in 5th place with Henny in 6th. Sean in 7th. Draw in 8th. The Gort in 9th. And Mays rounds out the top 10. Graham finishing on the lead lap in 11th. And Charlie a lap down in 12th place. In that race we lost Lighty, George and Alan Kay, with Lighty and George losing it at turn 4 for definite. Not sure about Alan Kay though. And fastest lap of the race went to a 1:18.527, a matter of hundredths there, but it is Jack who will pick up the fastest lap of the race, and just missing out by less than 200ths of a second is Warren. So unfortunate for him. A 2-stop there. He is the highest 2-stop runner in this race. But I have to say, Andy, that was a very interesting Hungarian Grand Prix. We've had a driver who broke a duck. We've had Navy who came from the back of the grid. We've had a driver finish on the podium for the first time since round 1. We've had a driver finish off the podium for the first time since round 1. Lots of stats flying here, there and everywhere. And all in all, what a fantastic race we had.
That was a brilliant race, actually. The strategy made it really interesting as well. The differences. 2-stop can be workable round here if you've got the pace, but you need to really be on it. And you can see the 1-stop was the preferred strategy for the majority of the drivers, but brilliant stuff. Navy from the back of the field, just a brilliant drive. Lyronix holding on those tyres. His teammate Spike made it as hard as possible when he came up to pass him though, but it was a good battling between the 2 Mercedes drivers. We've seen Warren having a spinning, coming back through to take 6. Jack recovering from his qualifying as well, because he, remember, crashed out in qualifying too. So plenty going on, plenty of stats, brilliant race. And again, despite the fact it might not be a driver's favourite and one of those awkward tracks to get right, it's throwing up an absolute brilliant race for us to watch over once again.
Absolutely. Unfortunately though, there will be no commentator's corner, so this is where our stream ends. But what a race, Andy, and I hope you'll be joining us next week for Forza Ferrari. It is the Italian Grand Prix. The Tifosi will be expecting, Andy. That's going to be a huge amount of pressure.
That's going to be, and it'll be interesting to see if Recon's back in time for that one. I believe you may be either solo or running with James next week, because unfortunately work's chucked me on the back shift next week. So I'll be missing everything next week. So no project cars for me on Monday night, which is 8 o'clock with James in the commentary box. No TTL F2 on Tuesday night for me at Hungary. Probably a godsend in one sense. That's at 8 o'clock on Tuesday. Malk should be in the box tomorrow for TTFL at 8 o'clock, and obviously Kieran will be back next week for TTL F1 at Monza, and possibly with James in the box. But I'll be back the week after, which I believe is Russia in Sochi, a track I actually don't mind, in fact.
I don't mind it. It's been a
It's quite flowing. Yeah.
It's one of my most intense races. I mean, I uploaded it on my YouTube channel when I used to race, and my goodness, the first stint there were about 10, 11 drivers in a train, right, one behind each other. I've never had a race like it. It was absolutely exhilarating. But make sure you are following the league on Twitter at TTL_F1, and if you really want to, you can follow me whilst you're there. It's at KSMCGF1, and make sure you also follow Andy Campbell whilst you're there as well. It's at Andy81287. Well, Andy, unfortunately you're not going to be here for Italy, but I hope you're back for Sochi and for the third to last round of the season.
Yeah, so after this week I should be no problems, at least in terms of work, for the rest of the season. Because I'm moving to a new job, which means training's 9 to 5 Monday to Friday, and I won't know what to do with myself. Absolutely,
9 to 5 is the way to go, because it gives you an evening of this, great racing.
Oh yes, brilliant, that's exactly what I want.
Absolutely, and we hope you can join us next week, at 7:55 GMT. Until then though, thank you so much for watching. I've been Kieran McGinley.
And I've been Andy Campbell.
Take care of yourselves, and we will see you next time.
Ta-ra.